Okay, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us. It is Tuesday, March 11, 2025, and we welcome you every Tuesday night here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time and 3 p.m. Pacific. So welcome to this 30-minute meeting that we have here with Dr. Joel Wallach, and legally we must say that this meeting is for educational and informational purposes only. So what you hear tonight is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure. And that being said, it takes great discipline and changes in our mindset and habits to have the protocols work. So we're here to seek true science-based, clinically proven use of nutrition to feel better. So thank you again for joining us. And tonight, Dr. Wallach, I'd like to talk about Alzheimer and dementia. If that's okay, I'm going to give you a few minutes to talk about that, and then we'll have some conversation about it. Thank you.
Okay, Pam, thank you so much. It's an honor to be speaking with you and Dave and your listeners and the community and the world. I appreciate that. Alzheimer's and dementia go back to the beginning of time. And every race, every culture, every age of human beings and animals get these problems, Alzheimer's and dementia. Now, when you look at the flip chart we have, well, flip chart, 75 pages, and it goes into so many of the common diseases, everything from diabetes to high blood pressure and all the famous people who we have saved from those diseases, cystic fibrosis, SID, sudden death syndrome. We've eliminated all those problems. We know what causes them. They're not genetic. And Alzheimer's disease and dementia are not genetic. They're not due to old age. They're due to nutritional deficiencies. And when you look at page 26 of the flip chart, it lists about 20 or 25 of the top neurological diseases, but there's double that many, okay? And then, of course, we have the book, It's All in Your Head. It goes into over 100 different diseases that are caused by osteoporosis of the skull, and there's osteoporosis of the skull, so it attacks the 12 pairs of cranial nerves and also the spinal cord. So we have all this documented. This, you're going to hear something today that you've never heard before. Your doctor's not going to tell you this. Well, you're old, you got to expect that sort of stuff to happen. No, there's nutritional deficiencies, and it's all in your head. The metabolic syndrome, the book Rare Earths and Cures. These sources of information are based on thousands of autopsies, thousands of clinical cases that I've been personally involved with. Okay, so I'm not speaking and quoting somebody else. I'm quoting myself. Okay? Now, what happens is when the white matter of the brain and spinal cord, the myelin, goes away, all the nerves that sort of run parallel with each other kind of short circuit, start getting problems. Okay, that's just the basic description of Alzheimer's disease and dementia. Okay, and it's sort of, what should I say, it's just dumb luck what part of the brain is afflicted when you have that. 85% of the brain is the white matter of the brain. 95% of the spinal cord is white matter of the spinal cord. Okay, these things are the insulation materials and prevent short circuiting and so forth. Then osteoporosis of the skull. When your skull is supposed to be 1/4 of an inch thick, it gets to be 1.5 inches to 2 inches thick. The 12 pairs of tunnels, plus the tunnel that the spinal cord goes through, are internally reduced by 95%. And so the nerves in the spinal cord are crushed and create these symptoms. That's the basic root cause here. And doctors want to do surgery, give you drugs and all this kind of stuff. That's how they make their living. That's how they send their kids to college. It's actually... it should be a criminal thing to say that these things are genetic, okay, and due to old age. Neither of those are true, okay? And so, let's see here. Alzheimer's disease is one of those things where right now okay, the Alzheimer's disease, we actually have 4.5 billion spent on Alzheimer's disease each year. 4 or 5 billion. That's in the United States. Okay? And it just drives you crazy when you know these figures. And of course, we have the book Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And of course, we have the CDs, we have the DVDs, and it's one of my biggest sellers because it goes into these things that afflict communities and people, and the doctors gave them misinformation and did surgery and all this kind of stuff, which didn't help much because it's not a surgical issue. It's a nutritional deficiency issue. Okay? And of course, right now, we have a bigger problem because the cost of eggs is going up like 5, 6, 8, 10 times, not percent, but times. And so people have stopped buying eggs. And eggs were the source of cholesterol, which is one of your best friends. Doctors say it's your enemy. Take these drugs so you don't get cholesterol. No, cholesterol is your best friend. You just don't want to eat it fried. Eat it fried, you get blockages in your arteries. You just have cholesterol barely heated, okay, like soft scrambled eggs. The cholesterol is your best friend. It makes your brain healthy, your spinal cord healthy. It produces your hormones, for your male sex hormone, your female sex hormone, okay? So cholesterol is your best friend. Everything the doctors have told you about those things are not true, all right? So what you need to do is get rid of all the bad stuff. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no butter, refined oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet one's got to go. And then you want to take the 90 essential nutrients, the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, 1 dose per 100 pounds of body weight, okay, per day. If you weigh 135, 140, 150 pounds, you want 2 doses a day, the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Then the secret sauce that we have created, okay, which we created, 10, 12 years ago, something like that. Okay, it's called I-26. It rebuilds the myelin, the white matter of the brain and spinal cord. And of course, in the flip chart, it just blows my mind. We have a great story. I thought it was going to be just, one story. No, it turns out it's a big story. There's so many other thousands of people involved, okay? And this is on page 27 of the flip chart, case report of Parkinson's disease, etiology or cause identified, reversal accomplished. Madeline O., her last name begins with an O. We didn't want to give her whole last name out because her lawn would be covered with thousands of people the next day wanting the information. Okay? And so the Parkinson's disease is a very simple nutritional deficiency disease that produces Parkinson's disease. But Parkinson's disease is easily reversible. We have now hundreds and hundreds of people, maybe even thousands, because I don't know them all around the world, but we certainly have several hundred people that had Parkinson's disease for years, 5, 10, 12 years, and weeks and months we have reversed it, okay, by getting rid of all the bad foods and then taking the 90 essential nutrients and the I-26, which rebuilds the myelin in the brain and spinal cord. So this is unimpeachable evidence. It's on page 27, and it's highlighted in yellow in the reports the doctors have sent to Madeline, which she shared with us. And so they're highlighted in yellow so you know that they're the thing that came from the doctors. It'll blow your mind, okay? And then rare earth spinning chairs. Rare earth spinning chairs. Well, you go back, this book was published many years ago, okay? And the U.S. at that time was 17th in life expectancy. That was April 6, 1990, okay? Japan was number 1 at 79.1, Switzerland 77.6, Canada 76.5, Australia 76.3, France 75.9, Germany 75.8, Italy 75.5, Great Britain 75.3, Austria 75.1, The United States was 75. That's our average lifespan back then in 1990. Let's see here. Ireland, 73.5. Czechoslovakia, 71. Romania, 69.9. And USSR, Russia, 69.8. Okay? That was then. Okay? Now, today, okay, when you're looking today, Hong Kong is number one with 85.63. New Zealand comes in with Australia 27th, 82.25. U.S. comes in at 48 and 79.46. China comes in at 58 and 78.02. Mexico comes in at 94 in the world, 75 at age at 75.26. The Ukraine comes in 100 at 74.69. Russia comes in 111 at 73.34. And India comes in at 123. That's the number, but it's 72.24. So these are the status, okay, where we're at. Now, Alzheimer's disease in the United States, each year, we Americans spend, and I hope you're all sitting down, to treat Alzheimer's disease, to prevent it and cure it, we spend each year in America $345 billion a year. 345 billion with a B. Okay, you're talking about. Let's see here. Parkinson's disease. Okay, we spend 4.5 billion. 4.5 billion. Okay. And so you add those two together, it's a big deal, okay? And so arthritis, osteoporosis, squeezing the spinal cord, squeezing the 12 pairs of cranial nerves. We spend $6.5 trillion a year when in the United Kingdom and the United States. We spend $6.5 trillion a year, okay? Turns out to be, what should I say, billion, okay? So it's one of those things where I just get breathless when I see these numbers. But you take the 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 minutes to 3 fatty acids, stay away from all that stuff. You take the, let's see here, I want to make sure you're taking the I-26 that'll rebuild the myelin of the brain and spinal cord. And I don't care how many years you've had Alzheimer's disease. I don't care how many years you had Parkinson's disease. Madeline had Parkinson's disease for like 12 years, and in 2 months' time it was gone. The doctor said, this can't be right. So he had her come back and do a bunch of tests because he told the family that she only had days to live. And she came back the next day, and everything was normal because for 2 months she had been listening to me about the diet and listening to me about supplement program. Now she's going around the world telling her story. That's Madeline O. All right? So this is something that's preventable. It is not a genetic thing. If 4 or 5 people in your families have Alzheimer's disease or Parkinson's disease, it's not a genetic thing. It's they're all eating grandma's recipe. They're all getting their vegetables from the same farms that have the same minerals in them because plants don't make minerals. Okay, they only need 3. We need 60. Okay, and so if you're getting the plants from the same garden or same farm, there's only 3 minerals in those farms and gardens. That's all you're going to get unless you're supplementing. So that tells the story. And I just want everybody to, again, these books, they sell for very, very economical. If you buy 10 of them, you get a big discount. People are buying them by the case, okay, so they can sell them at the regular price, make a little money. But also, they give them to their family, their workmates, their neighbors, their church mates, okay? And they're getting all these reversals of Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. It's like crazy, okay? Dementia. These things are totally preventable and totally reversible because they're nutritional deficiency disease. They're not genetic in any way, shape, or form. Okay, over to you.
Okay, Dr. Wallach, thank you so much.
So does anybody have any questions?
I do.
Okay, what's your name?
Hi, Doc. It's Dave. Dave and the Thumb. How are you, sir?
Oh, I know you.
Yeah.
How can I help you?
Well, I'd like to know, do we know, now you did say that $345 billion a year just in America just to treat Alzheimer's, right? And that doesn't even help these people. Do we know how many people that, are paying that much? How many people actually are diagnosed annually with Alzheimer's in America? Do we know that number?
We do know the number, okay, and what should I say?
Well, if you don't have it now, maybe next time we can, come up with that number. But I'm just curious if these people were, instead of the insurance company spending $345 billion plus these people's out-of-pocket expenses, if they were to buy a healthy brain and heart pack and a little extra, of the secret sauce, and stop eating the bad foods that's in the food pyramid that they want them to eat, it would be a fraction, right? Just a small fraction of what they're spending annually just to treat, and then these people would be being cured. Isn't that right?
That is correct. And prevented and cured. Okay?
Incredible.
And you can ask Siri. Just ask Siri right now. You ask Siri while we're on the air. How many people are diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia each year in America?
Well, we don't have that, but I don't know if anyone's on here that does. If there is, and they can pull that up, I'd love to know that number.
Okay, hang on.
Okay.
Hey, Siri. How many people are diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease each year in America? Now, Siri won't answer me when I'm on the phone with somebody else.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll figure it out by our next call.
Yeah, I'll figure it out with 30 seconds after we shut off.
Okay. Great. Well, Doc, we appreciate you so much. Thank you for all that information. Pam, back over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we do have a crisis. We all agree to that. And
yes.
Most people I talk to, they have different surgeries, and then they come out of that surgery and they're like, yeah, now I have this, and I have this, and I have this. And if we could just understand that one point of staying out of the hospitals, because when you go in there, you're asking them to take care of you, and they have to give you something, and the insurance has to pay, and it's like you said, it's a lot of different numbers from a lot of different participants in that particular arena. And so I spoke with someone today that mentioned about being diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia, or one or the other, and he showed me these different surgery areas, and I said, well, is that when you noticed things started changing? And he said, yeah. So, that's really disheartening. When you know that you're going to go into a hospital and they take an oath to do no harm, and then you come out of there and you're feeling worse, or you're on different medications, or you're on medications now where you have not been previously. So I enjoyed what you said about the cholesterol, because most people want to, discredit that. And you're the one that came up with, finding that cholesterol is what we need to protect the mind. So if you could elaborate on that cholesterol area a little bit more, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. Well, cholesterol is a basic product that produces myelin, the white matter of the brain and spinal cord. It's also the product that produces sex hormones, okay, for both male and females. Cholesterol is your best friend. Now, why do doctors tell you, okay, well, everything's, you got high blood pressure, you got this, you got that, I'm going to give you anti-cholesterol medication. And if they'll give you medication, and you'll get your blood pressure will come down. Oh, I just love that medication, and so forth. And the patient thinks that it was the lowering of the cholesterol that lowered the high blood pressure. But then a couple of months or a couple of years down the line, okay, the blood pressure rises higher, okay, the dementia gets worse because the white matter is going away when you're stopping access to healthy cholesterol. Healthy cholesterol is your best friend. And, of course, doctors want you to think it's your worst enemy because that's how they put their kids through college. That's how they buy a 9,000-square-foot house. Okay, that's how they buy their big cars. And this is how they have their lifestyle. You don't see doctors coming out with all kinds of great things that say, you know, we got rid of all those diseases. You never hear that. Why? Because if they get rid of all the diseases, they don't have any income. And you say, well, Wallach, you're kind of skeptical, aren't you? Well, I'm a pathologist, and I see all this stuff on the autopsy table. And I'm the guy who discovered the skull when you have osteoporosis of the skull. You never heard osteoporosis of the skull until I brought it up a couple of years ago. Because I'm seeing all these at the autopsy table. I'm asking the doctors, you ever heard of this before? No, there's no such thing as osteoporosis of the skull. It's only of the leg bones and the pelvis and the vertebrae and that kind of stuff. And it doesn't occur in babies. You got to be kidding me. No, it occurs in babies. And it's one of those things where it's not an age thing. It's not a genetic thing. And it's a dietary thing. It's a nutritional deficiency. Okay, but it's easily reversed. I don't care if you've had it for 25 years. You can reverse it, and you start seeing reversal in a couple of weeks. And that's why I say this is the 90 for Life program. Why 90 for Life? Because you give me 90 days, I'll get rid of it.
Well, we know that, Dr. Wallach. Thank you very much. And I think a lot of people have a problem because they've been listening to doctors for so long. Over 100 years, we have been misled, and the Flexner Report proves that. And you're familiar with the Flexner Report?
Oh, yes. Yes.
So in that report, do you want to talk about it or not right now?
Well, I don't have all the exact numbers in front of me, but the Flexner Report comes out and says that all these diseases are appearing now. Why are they appearing now? Well, because people are, you have to appreciate, you've heard the land flowing with milk and honey. It goes back 2,000 years ago, the old Bible, the land flowing with milk and honey. And those are places where people lived a long time. Back then, people lived to be, 200 years old, 300 years old. Let's see, I have this in front of me here. Enoch, okay. Enoch, the old Bible, is 365. Lamech, number 9, 777. Mahala, number 8, is 895. These are their years of age. Enos was number 7, 908. Kenan, number 6, 910. Seth, number 5, 912. Adam, he's famous. People know of Adam. Number 4, 930. Noah, everybody knows about him. Number 3, 950 years of age. Jared, number 2, 962 years of age. Methuselah, he's legendary for being the oldest person. Number 1, 969. Okay, and these are recorded in the old Bible, and these are people who came from the lands flowing with milk and honey. And people think, oh, was that cow's milk? Was it sheep's milk? Was it, elephant milk? What kind of milk was it? It was glacial milk. The glaciers at the top of the mountains grinding up the rocks. The rock dust was white, got into the streams, and the stream coming down the side of the mountain. A half a mile away to a mile away, you could see the white stream coming down the side of the mountain that looked like milk. So that's why they called the land flowing with milk and honey. Why the honey? Well, with all those minerals coming down into the valleys, there were more flowers, more bees, more honey. And so the land flowing with milk and honey, this is where everybody wanted to go to because they knew 2,000 years ago that people live longer, healthier. And right now, the people who live the longest on Earth, this just came out a couple of weeks ago, okay, from the U.S. government, okay, the people who live the longest are the people, the Pakistanis, who live in the Hunza villages in the Himalayan mountains in Pakistan. Their average lifespan is 122. An emergency room doctor in America, their average lifespan, this just came out 2 weeks ago, is 58.7 years. That's not very good. And, of course, the lifespan of a medical doctor in America right now is 73.5. Okay? These are the medical doctors' ages because they're not taking supplements. They're just, quote, eating well. Well, my doctor said I could just eat well and get everything I need. Well, if you live in the land flowing with milk and honey, that's true. But other places, you're only getting 3 minerals instead of 60. So this is why supplementation equalizes everybody, makes everybody equal when it comes to longevity and health. Take your 90 essential nutrients. In a couple of months, I'll be 86 years old. Most people, when they look at me, they think I'm in my 50s. Okay. And I can out-arm wrestle anybody my weight, okay, because I've been taking these nutrients since I was 3 years old. My dad was a champion boxer, and I used to go to the gym with him when I was 3 years old and seeing all these other guys who were weightlifters and boxers and wrestlers and long-distance runners and so forth, track people. And they're very healthy. And I was asking my dad, what are all those pills they're taking? Well, he says those are vitamins and minerals. I'm 3 years old, and I had him give me, I've been taking these vitamins and minerals since I was 3. Okay. And, of course, I use a colloidal silver, say before breakfast, before lunch, before dinner, before bedtime. Okay, I put a dropper full under my tongue on the left side, dropper full under my tongue on the right side. I've been doing this for over 50 years. And so it's one of those things where it kills all the bugs, all these viruses going around. Everybody, all these viruses are killing people. They're wiping out whole villages in America and Europe. Well, take the colloidal silver, take your 90 essential nutrients, and you'll live longest.
Well, Dr. Wallach, you mentioned a couple things right there that kind of piqued my interest, where I know that when you were around 9 years old, they wanted to put you into an institution because you had some, blinking. And at 3, your dad was giving you vitamins and minerals. So at 9, they weren't exactly everything that you needed, because what you found was in the barn, what those cows were being given had more calcium and magnesium and the different things that you weren't getting through those vitamins and minerals that your dad was getting. Is that true?
Yes, but I was also eating fried foods and French fries and all the bad stuff. And so once I kind of looked at the situation, I'm seeing that the cows aren't eating French fries. Okay, so I gave up all the bad stuff and got back on the nutrients, and in a couple of weeks it all went away.
Oh, that's good information. So, and we know about those, I don't even know how to say it, cramylicides or whatever, when you fry food. So I want to take you to a friend of mine who I met. She was a coroner, her and her husband, and she told me that she's been doing muscle testing now after several years of, coronary or coroner, what you did. And so she's doing some muscle testing. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but she said a lot of people are coming up with plastics in their body. What do you say to that?
Well, you're talking about plastic in their bodies, and this is one of those things where the whole idea of plastics had to do with wrappers, clothes, wrapping food, and so forth. And so it was contaminating our environment. The air we breathed, the food we ate, the water we drank. And so I started eating everything that the cows were eating, that the pigs were eating, and that the sheep were eating, and taking the supplements, and all my bad stuff went away, and all the good stuff showed up again.
That's good stuff. So, and we have a lot of water bottles and, drink bottles that come in plastic, at the stores. And I think that's what she's referring to. When you go to a filling station and they have those water bottles sitting out in the sunshine, wrapped in a plastic container, and then it absorbs in there. What we eat is what we absorb, right? What do you say about that?
Yeah, well, exactly. It's one of those things where you have to have the 90 essential nutrients. You have to avoid all the bad stuff. And when you look at the land flowing with milk and honey, they tend to be primitive, okay? They don't have 18 gasoline stations in every corner. These long-lived peoples are living in primitive situations, okay, where they're still using horses and wagons, and they don't have tractors. They use horses pulling plows and so on, okay? And it's not the sort of old ways that are doing it, but it's the fact when they're doing the old ways, they're not destroying the nutrition in the soil.
See, okay, I get that. All right, well, we're at I hate to cut this off, but we do have to end this call. It's been very relaxing. We enjoyed talking to you, Dr. Wallach, and I hope that people return next week, again at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and also that's 3 p.m. Pacific Time. You guys can figure out the middle part there. So thank you, Dr. Wallach, for joining us tonight. Are you having any final words that you would like to depart with us today?
Yeah, just invite people to come next Tuesday, because we're going to have, another subject. I don't know what it is yet, but it'll be something that's valuable for everybody to benefit from. And so I really appreciate the opportunity to get the message out there, and people don't have to pay a fee to get the information, okay? And so we want to make sure that anybody who wants information can get it. Okay?
All right, and if you want to get any of those books that Dr. Wallach talked about, Rare Earth's Forbidden Cures, the flip chart, it's all in your head. All those things are available at www.drjwallach.com. And I would suggest that everybody get those resources to have at home so they don't have to visit the doctor, have surgeries, and then be filled with a bunch of medications that we have to try and work to get them off of. So thank you, Dr. Wallach. We will talk to you again next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doc.
Bye-bye.
See you
Thank
next
you,
week.
Sir. Okay.
Good night.
Dave and Pam.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.